is our year-end transfers. This is part of a little bit of cleanup on the audit. We had some revenue items that we exceeded the collections on, so we want to do that. And we also want to fund our reserves with this entry. Do we have any questions about any of those items?
Got a motion on 1 through 9. So moved. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the Budget Management Office, we have our multiple staff development, our individual staff development, and our, looks like no information items here. So just those two.
Do I have a motion? So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Board of Registrars, we have no report, but we are having an election today, so please announce some votes. Circuit Clerk, we have the election manager, Birmingham Division, resolution for partial payment, $1,800 to Danny Forrest. I move to put it in. Motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, resolution, developmental services. Move for back forward. A motion and second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Z24-0001.
Yes, so this is actually a compliance case. This is a property that's out of Pennsylvania Park. This is the Mimosa Trailer Park. It's currently zoned C1. It was zoned sometime in the 1960s, 1950s, when mobile home parks were allowed in C1 zoning. And I pulled up the wrong presentation for this one. Look at it real quick.
That's all, I'll move to the agenda.
Very good.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we have an EMA grant agreement, Homeland Security. Grant, do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I have one community grant from the city of Kimberly.
Move that.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. If not, we expedited that for you, but thank you. Mr. Scales, we'll go through the order now.
We have, on behalf of Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, no items on the Board of Equalization. We have 4 items under Environmental Services. Do we have any questions as it relates to those items?
Question on number 2, Nevin on the scope of work will include on directive allowance for sanitary sewer pipe replacement. What is that?
So, it's the find and fix contract, so they go out to TV, they find a collapse, they fix it, so that's part of the finance, it depends on the severity.
That's on the collection.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
I move.
Okay. It has been moved properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. No items under Joint Retirement, Human Resources, and Compliance Office. 1 item on the Personnel Board of Jefferson County. And think our name change. I'm sure it says for acknowledgement only. Are there any questions? All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. We have a community grant for the Nadine Johnson Foundation in the amount of $2,500.
Item 1 and 2.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. On the second one, just for clarification, which we brought the paperwork, we just wanted to make sure that there was language that needed to be added. The law department was familiar with it, meaning with regard to Jefferson County Commission 1. So anyway, just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. All right, that ends my report. No? Oh, no, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
In HR, we had a contract with Ameriflex who handles our pre-tax medical payments for the employees usually, so we had an incorrect date.
Okay.
I'm bringing up new business to
Yeah.
correct that.
If the body, yeah, second. I'm sorry, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Forgive me. Okay.
Second.
Sounds like there's a pen and ink change, right? That's what we were dealing with item number 2 now. Are there any questions from any commissioners in regards to this item? This is on human resources. Would you like to say what exactly the item?
You have a motion in a second.
What you did? Okay, I'm sorry. It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Good morning.
Community Development and Health Services Committee. I have nothing for Cooper Green, nothing for the coroner's office. The community service, Dr. Hamilton and Bertrand Young.
Yes, Commissioners, we have one item for you for your consideration today. It is to amend the resolution for our housing rehab grant. It specifically talks about the housing rehab process. What is not captioned in here that I want to make note of is that currently NEP owes $30,000 to go through. We're trying to, with this amendment, raise that to $50,000 just due to the rise in the cost of labor and parking materials.
Commissioners, you need to make a heading change also. What you have is the correct resolution in your packet, but the narrative that we have is different. We're just trying to increase the cost of going out to do these rehab on these properties from $30,000 to $50,000.
Question.
Yes,
ma'am. 30,000 is still a pretty large amount. Why are we going up and saying it costs more?
Yes, sir. Because the construction costs have increased so much, we want to be able to expand the cost to help the people in low income areas that need rehabs in their houses.
Or does that reduce the ability to bid on it? Or?
No, it doesn't say
It
that.
does not.
So
We should
all
have
this still has to go through the bid process?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it go through the bid process over 50, or is this just to have $50,000 per each engagement?
Each engagement.
Okay,
I
I got you.
get a motion on this item.
So,
Hold that.
It's been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nothing for, District Attorney, Family Court, Sheriff Department of Resolution, for the president to accept this grant, from ABCK.
how much we got?
I don't know the exact amount, Commissioner, it hasn't been calculated yet that I know of. It's not gonna be a lot of money because our from revenue didn't go down as much as some counties did, but this is just pursuant to that. It was passed last year to make up that difference.
I'll make that.
Okay, second, and let me ask this question too, Wayne, while we're at it. I learned that, for the pistol permitting, especially being that, I know several of us have had problems with regards to the, cemetery issues.
Right.
Which I understood that the part of this pistol permitting, paid for that. So how much is this that you all are going after in terms of this revenue loss?
I don't know, Commissioner, I apologize, they didn't give me that number. I don't think it's been completely calculated yet. The state does the calculations and just sends us a check.
I'd be interested in knowing that, especially being that, we have so many issues with these cemeteries.
Right.
And being that, since they, is underfunded now,
Right,
and people the general public didn't know that it was associated with this pistol permit.
right. I'll be glad to try to run the number down and send it to the commission.
Okay, yes, please, thank you.
It's been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I did want to make a statement on this. We have been getting calls, what cemetery that was? Sunrise Memorial Cemetery. About it's been abandoned and it's people trying they have plots there to be buried and no one there to open the gate there, locking the gates and all this. So we need to, who would I address this with about this money coming from, and if he cutting out there and all, everything else in the abandoned cemetery. So we got to.
Representative Divine and
She said
Treadway.
that she's not on the committee anymore. She's not on that committee anymore. I called out to the state house. They said they have never had a meeting since 3 years. So it's got to be this money going somewhere. Is it over there in the sheriff office?
It's not.
Because I need something to cut these folks is not gonna keep calling my office. was going back to the cemetery. So whose job it is on this commission to find out about these cemeteries?
I thought the state was handling it.
No, I understand that the state is one of the boards.
The state said they sent it back to us. They said they hadn't had a meeting in 3 years.
They can't send it back to us. I think I said in those original meetings, and
Legislatures
we
were
received-
going forward.
yeah, we received no responsibility for that.
We could try to see what the board is, but there's a board that was set up, and it was set up and designed to be funded from monies from the physical permit fund. But it's a state board, and because of all the issues with private property, and so we didn't have any, we didn't have anything to do with that. But there's a board that's set up that's supposed to meet, that has monies to do this exact kind of thing. We'll try to look for you, see what's happening, and you report on it, but that's a state board, and the only thing that, and they're funded through the physical permit fund.
And when I called down there, they said that it hadn't been in 3 years. The guy said that he knew about it. And the money is sitting there. So I want to know, do we have an appointment on that board?
No.
We don't, and
We
why
don't
not?
have anything to do with that board because of issues such as this, where we have nothing to do. We cannot go on private property to do anything. This is like paving someone's driveway. It just sounds better. The law's the same on it, and we chose through legal counsel, I say that right, Theo,
Yeah,
to not participate in this particular board because of reasons such as this.
So that means we are kicking the can down the road.
We're not kicking the can anywhere.
The state law was written where they appointed board members and didn't appoint the commission, but they control.
But these are the constituents, and I can only speak for District 2 that's calling my office. Now, who I will hold responsible for this?
You legislator.
Now, they keep sending me back to the law department. So I need an answer.
I don't mind following up to see where the board stands, but the board was particularly designed to deal with these private cemeteries. And the cemetery issue goes even back to some of the cemeteries that were in Birmingham. Because we can't deal with issues dealing with private property, the state passed a law that allowed the cemetery board to have the authority to go and pretty much take over abandoned cemeteries. But that's the state board and it's funded through the physical permit.
So,
Yeah, but Hameen is over that particular board, and the thing is that because we're a creature of the state, I remember this came up before, we're a creature of the state, then it was the responsibility of the state to take care of matters pertaining to the cemetery, which is why they created a development board. However, the board has not been meeting like they should, and so they have meetings in this building, but they don't even tell us about when they're having a meeting.
they haven't had a meeting.
That's
I
my
don't know.
point.
The man said they haven't had a meeting. So, the money's sitting there. Someone is responsible. We are getting the calls. At least my office is getting calls. Because a lot of the cemeteries that's abandoned is in District 2. So, the state ain't getting the heat. District 2 getting the heat from this.
How would you suggest you rectify that?
We have a
Based on-
lobbyist.
Based on us having no authority over that and actually would get in trouble.
We need
we
to have
did
a
that.
press conference. We need to have,
Yeah.
we need to have a press conference and say that and point and call names of the person who's responsible for this. Instead of just letting it tag along and by us not saying nothing don't make it right. It make it even wronger by not saying anything.
How about, let's do this first. You get with Theo in the law office and understand those answers and talking points when people ask you. And then if that doesn't clarify the situation, you refer them to the law office and they will straighten it out. And Helen, you could give a statement, maybe to clarify, to get that out to everyone so they know where the responsibility is. I do not want to, in the middle of a legislative session, get into a he and she thing with our legislator. Let's just state our position and have it good and clarified. And
battle.
Fight this battle another
Yeah,
day.
but you know that we already addressed this, that's why I rolled back over there. We talked about this, I mean, about.
Nothing has been done.
Well,
And it's still, we can't do anything,
Well-
it's not our responsibility.
Maybe you could write a letter to your
I
delegation.
did, listen, I did all that. I have, all of that has been done. So what I'm saying is that I know y'all don't wanna make them mad because you want something from, they ain't doing nothing for us anyway. Everything we have ever asked for, at least I can see where they have given it to us. So I don't see why not say nothing. This the only time we can get them all together now anyway. You know, yeah, like you're scared or something.
Not scared of
Well,
anybody,
then
we
you
just,
need to be
you
trying
have
to
to be
get something.
prudent of what and when you ask them.
What, Jim, they ain't calling your office. They are not calling your office. They're calling my cell phone, my office, leaving dope on my door. That's what you don't fully understand. You at peace when you go home, but I'm not. Well, I think I deserve some privacy, and I don't deserve my phone being run off the hook and people come over my house. So this needs to be addressed by the law department. Somebody need to do something about this.
That's what I said.
Well, we intentionally before made sure that the Office of Public Information, I don't know if you recall this, Helen, this came up a couple of months ago, where it was explained, in fact, I think NBC covered it, that there was a detailed, information piece that was outlining, because it had become such a prominent issue in the news. All I think that we need to do at this point is to disseminate that information and making sure that the constituents know. And, you know, I'm not here to debate whose office is calling, because I already brought this up. But I think what we have to do is we have to continue on to advocate for the commission's role in the matter, which we have none. And so I think if we make sure that it's inviting, yet our constituents know who they need to contact as relates to it, because it's certainly an issue. I think that would help us out, even though I'm looking at her, that's for you to direct staff to do that. That making sense? I think we need to give, this one official statement and encourage our friends in the legislature to join on with us, and so that we can be able to address this matter.
Theo, can you walk
I'm
through that?
I'm pulling the board composition and the cemetery issue is one that's been going on since the Shadow Lawn issue, 20 plus years ago. And one of the reasons of the development of the cemetery board was because cities and counties did not have the authority on private property to deal with those issues. So the board was established to be able to take over abandoned cemeteries, and they're funded through the pistol permit fund, and they have the authority to do things, and those authorities are granted to them by law, and that's the authority that cities and counties don't have. So it's funded and it's in place. So as far as whatever dysfunction there may be about it, we'll look into that. But the authority to do this is a result of an ongoing issue that started 20 plus years ago with Shadow Lawn City.
But why don't we have Justin in your office? He had pulled all that information together a couple of months ago. He should be able, county attorney, to put his hands right on it, including the law associated with it.
We got the law. I'm just trying to see who the board people are.
Well, I'm saying that, remember when this came up a couple of months ago, I'm telling you, Mr. Hameen was the last known chair of that board, and it was because Justin found out who was the chairman of the board, and there's a number associated with Mr. Hameen. My office contacted him. He made it very clear that they haven't had meetings in a while, right? Okay, and so all we can do is encourage. We cannot demand. We can encourage. But the law and all of that, Justin already has it in the board makeup. All of that is there. Yeah, because initially it was stated to call down to Montgomery, and then that's when I was provided the number to Mr. Hameen himself. So I think for commission purposes, out of respect to all of the commissioners, it would probably be feasible for us to give that to the commissioners so that they can have direct contact, at least with Mr. Hameen, who's the chairman of the board.
One of the primary concerns back when you can probably address it was having enough money to do any good.
That's
It's
right.
over $3 million in there.
And to utilize the sheriff, we were actually, if I remember, they actually gone back to buy weed eaters and things like that.
Yeah, there was some discussion about that. The problem that we had, as I remember, Commissioner, when we met, and I was in the meeting, we were talking about, the bill anticipated that the sheriff's office would provide the labor for this, which we can't do. As we discussed 2 weeks ago at the commission meeting, most of our folks are pretrial. You cannot use pretrial inmates to do this labor. So the bill was passed in anticipation this was something like a prison where there would be a number of prison laborers available. We had like 6 or 7 people, and they generally all work in the kitchen. So there is just no labor available from the sheriff's office to do that. The sheriff's office would actually have to hire people to do it, and that was where the discussion ended, as I remember.
But I think personally, we're putting undue burden on the commission in a way to try to deal with something that we're not actually qualified to deal with, not because we may not know, I have an understanding, we just have no authority in the matter. And I do believe that what should have taken place is when this funding was to come from that particular pool of money, it would have been more prudent for us to, not us, for the sponsor of the bill to outline exactly what those funding or those funds would be used for.
Right.
In the haste to try to make sure that we did this statewide to remove pistol permitting anyway to stop, no one at the state seemingly thought about their own sponsored bill, which had a funding attached. So really you have an enabling legislation that is mandated but underfunded or not funded. It's an unfunded mandate.
You said,
Huh?
yeah, I can't disagree with anything you said. And also,
I'm giving Helen her, and I'm giving Solomon with the right. It's an unfunded mandate. Even though you say it's got money, it's not money there for real, because when they took away that, it took away any kind of dollars that you would collect in order to be able to address it.
But you still have revenue for
we are getting some revenue in. I mean, the pistol permits are still available. You can still buy a lifetime permit, which I know even some members of the commission have done. You still need a permit. There you go. If you live in Alabama, you want to travel to Georgia or Florida, you got to have a pistol permit if you want to take your gun with you. So there's still reasons to get a pistol permit. We're still open. We still sell pistol permits, but we aren't selling as many as we used to. That's for that.
Because it's not necessary.
That's right. That's right.
We can just go out and shoot folks.
there. I move 1 through 3.
Second.
And it's been, it's a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner, Mr. Enamoni.
Infrastructure, administrative infrastructure committee, we got roads and friends, 5 items.
Items 1 through 5, if there are any questions from any commissioners.
Capacity improvements, I'll have a motion for 1 through 5. And a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. County attorney, you have 8 items. The first being the minutes of the February 22nd, the rest, litigation agreement claims. The one that I think probably we need to talk about is the opioid settlement a little bit. Can you explain that?
This is an application as a result of the program that we created last week. It is an application for an individual that does transportation and care for those folks that have opioid addictions, $25,000. That's one of the first applications that we have, and that person meets the requirements that set out in your process on last.
I'm not familiar with unforsaken ministry. Can you, I've been there.
I can get you some background information on it there. It's standard for, but I'll get you the background information on that. But
You can that a long time?
Uh, 2 or 3 years.
And the ministry's been in existence for 2 or 3 years.
Right, I'll get you the back of mine.
All right, would you get me that information? One thing that I do want you to reconsider is that we have all of the fire departments and fire districts that don't have a lot of money, that, we will get into the, what's the drug called?
Narcan.
Narcan. Using your funds, those funds, to supply Narcan to keep on the trucks to save lives. Now, that's something.
We wait on application. It's not a, that's a clear use. We put the application on the website, put it in a flag there, specific governmental entities. That's an absolute authorized use. I heard at one point there was some question about who was gonna make application, but it's certainly available.
They were trying to do it through the health department, there was a legal issue on that.
How about just doing it through us and let's get it done? You can procrastinate on that, and the money's gonna come and go, and everybody's gonna sit there and they're gonna go look. The type of Narcan that they use is different than the kind that the health department gives out.
Correct. The health department was looking to purchase some for them, but then they figured out legally they couldn't. That was the issue.
Would you, through my office, contact them, Theo, and make sure that these people can have that life-saving drug?
And we're gonna do that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All districts,
Okay, I was just gonna say, it's
All
not
good.
just a cutoff.
all districts.
This is the application is online. It's called, you can look on, our website. The application is available, it's opioid health. But any governmental entity, those fire departments that need those Narcan is probably one of the most clear-cut, straightforward uses for these items. So it's just a matter of an application. We created a process on last week. This particular entity has been doing this for a minute, and they were kind of catalysts for making sure that we had guardrails in place. But it's just a matter of making the application, and we can through.
That'd be great, I appreciate that information. Chair will entertain a motion 1 through 8.
Move on.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye. County manager, you got kids one transport for 1,000. This is really my other business. Music grant, Center Point High School that I'm gonna give $2,000 to.
Move items 1 through 6, with District 1 adding, $5,000 to, item number 2 for Center Point High School. And we probably on Thursday, Joe will want.
Joe will probably add to it.
I think we were two, but they were two.
Okay, so can any change, you've already added to it?
It's in the agreement. The backup.
It's on the back up, okay, well, we were good, so.
Okay, so, because I know how much they need, right?
Those are your figures.
5 figures, so we do.
Okay.
So the backup will have the rest of it.
So, yes.
Thank you.
5, we still gonna do 5.
Yeah. All right, yeah, 1 through.
I said yes, and then.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have 2 appointments. Okay, you've done my appointments. All right, great. Commissioner Bowley, we're gonna finish with you.
There's a report of economic development and information technology, do that. Performance of lotteries.
So move items 1 and 2, Commissioner. Alright. Then move second. Carol.
Well, Jim Stewart. You know Jim?
No, I've got his, resume.
Got his resume.
Good name.
Oh. County attorney. No news is good news?
No news is good news.
anything, any of our outstanding litigations, anything going on? Everything quiet? All right, county manager. Yep. Today is election day, we want to expedite this meeting as best we could, so that people could get out and do what they need to. We have I distributed to the commissioners House Bill 191, which is there to fill the Jefferson County Commission vacancy. It has the issues and the talking points. If you remember, this started with Commissioner Bowman and Mayor Bell, and they had 2 or 3 elections that cost people a lot of money, back to back to back. And that kind of resurfaced itself with Commissioner Bowman in his election. And it cost a great deal of money and time for about 5% of the people coming out. What this act does is it makes it uniform with the rest of the state, and it's a common sense legislation. I want to give the commissioner to have it.
So are we voting on this?
We're not voting on this. I just did this to make sure everyone had it.
So this is going through the legislature.
Going through the legislature.
So when would it, for them to approve this session?
Yes.
And who? So this is from theirs,
This
that's
is
already exists,
from them.
that already exists.
This is what, yeah, sure it already exists. It's HB 191.
So they didn't talk to nobody on the commission about it.
That's what they're doing now. Is that they're drawing from
That's
the
concerning.
That's what I did.
This is saying that the governor is going to appoint in the event of.
Like they used to do, like they do everywhere.
Well, we everywhere else, and like they used to do, that we trying to get out of it, like they used to
Well,
do.
we're doing what we used to do.
But that's what we trying to stop.
So what I'm saying is, I'm only expressing obvious concern is that if you have a Republican governor and you have a Democratic, like we talking about Bowman, and even with Bell, Democratic seat or district, and the Republican governor is selecting the replacement.
Well, I lived through this, and that's not how it was created. You had a Democrat legislature, you had a Democrat commission, and they didn't like it when Bob Riley was the governor. So they wanted to change it, make it different from every other county in the state, which was unfair, but they held the power in both places, and they did it. All we're doing is going back to at least 90% of what the rest of the state does. Sometimes deep control, sometimes our control, but, you know, this election last year was slurry. It got to 80 grand, and that's without a runoff. There'd have been another 80 grand if there had been multiple candidates and nobody got 50% was in.
But at least the voters had participation.
They did.
And what I'm saying is,
Well, I didn't finish what I was saying. What I was going to finish by saying is that nobody knew what district they were in.
sure,
You got half of Hoover. He's got half of Hoover.
sure.
I go all the way out, you know, to Leeds, and most of Leeds, nobody knew whether, nobody knew who to vote for, and as a result, they didn't have a 10% turnout. This is a waste of taxpayer money. I went through it. I'm gonna play by the rules as they're written, but the rules are wrong now. They were enacted to take care of a Democratic constituency, which is fine. They had the power, and they did it. All I'm saying is, just looking at this, that I had nothing to do with the writing in it. I support it 100%. We get back to the way it was for decades. When the Democrats were first.
And we don't have any say so. This isn't our bill.
Yeah,
This
because
is
you
a
know what I was about to say,
bill.
the same Democrats
It
that
was
later
presented
became
to me,
Republicans,
and I
and now they're doing the very thing that they did democratically, but they're doing it as Republicans because they changed parties.
That's all that was.
So
So it's okay for them to do it.
What I'm saying is the same folk, that's all, it's the same
That's
folk.
what we trying to get out of, Judge, is we don't want it back like it was. That's what at least I don't, I can speak for me.
But you changed it so you have a choice.
No, we didn't change nothing.
Well,
The Republicans back then
people
were
that
Democrats.
did. And I'll say this, this is even funnier. You ran in a partisan election for your seat, pretty sure you did too, and I will next time, and so will this commissioner here. This is a nonpartisan election, so that even more confuses people. You're running nonpartisan for a seat that is a partisan seat. So this is not.
But I will say, even though it's not our debate, but I will say this, one of the things that, and I want this going on the record, one of the things that does concern me, this appears to be the second bill that specifically has, a local implication, but we had no conversation, and we have 2 lobbying firms. I mean, at least give us the professional courtesy to talk with us. And the first one, just so that you're aware, both, that I'm referring to, is the one about, freezing the tax part in terms of Jefferson County only for persons who are 65 and have no home, right? Okay, but at least talk to us, because what happens when I'm a voter and it appears to be a county issue, then I go to my county commissioner at least to be able to give me some kind of understanding of what it is. Well, it's hard to do that when you don't even know yourself. You know what I mean? At least the amendment that was on the ballot today, you can defend it or disagree with it, but at least you had knowledge of it, and you had time to be able to explain to your constituents as to why. Does that make sense what I'm
Some
saying?
of this commissioners, my fault, because that probably did have 4 or 5 during the course of the election. Representatives or senators that called and asked, what is your district? What is all this? And you're running as a Republican or Democrat, and I explained each one of them. So in my judgment, and I'm not supporting this with any authority.
Sure.
This was created by the legislature to go back to the way things were before we changed it in 2009.
Who's sponsoring this bill?
So what I'm doing is making the commission aware of it, which I think is my responsibility.
That's right.
I found out, I got it in on my email yesterday, and I presented it to the commission today. And so here we are, and I will do that whenever I have anything that comes across my desk, that I think affects us as a commission. So with that being said, if you talk to your legislator.
No, I'm gonna call down, I don't agree with this. With a governor appointing someone to the seat that don't wanna expand Medicaid, why would I want her to appoint someone to the commission? It makes no sense. It's not gonna benefit my constituents or me.
Okay. I can't argue your point, nor will I attempt to. Do we have anything else?
No, we appreciate the information. I was gonna say, if possible, when are we supposed to have a meeting with the legislative body? We talked about it.
Yeah, we were gonna have it, but everyone said that it's too late now. So I did not pursue that anymore.
Yeah, Greg Jones, who else allowed it?
Mike Bass, Greg Jones, Neil Moore.
So, Mr. President, I think it would behoove us moving forward that if we can, start getting us.
They actually wanted us to come down there and participate in a day and taking the lunch, our lobbyists did. And no one really wanted to go down there and participate.
Well, I didn't have a problem with that, just went away.
Yeah. And I don't know that we have time with the legislative session such as now. But I know that the city of Birmingham went down there for legislative. The ACCA either has gone or has one scheduled to go. Commissioner Knight is the president, and I'm sure he's a representative as well. He is down there today representing the ACCA on a legislative matter, so, he would be a good point of contact for this. Macy can, everything, what he can.
Who you said would be a good contact?
Sure.
Well,
He's president of ACCA, and this,
yeah.
you know, and this is, I think, sponsored. I don't know. I got this in the mail, I forwarded it to everyone, because I think that's,
Did they talk to you,
Yeah.
Joe,
about what, you know. I got this.
Are there any other bills that are pertaining to Jefferson County that?
None
We need to
that I have
discuss.
seen, and, you know, when I have one that comes out like that, I'll promise you, I'll do what I'm doing. I've always done that, always will.
No, that's appreciated.
Generated by legislation.
Yeah, it's generated by legislation.
Unless the legislator wanted us to have.
No, here's what I'm saying, Commissioner, respectfully. We have paid advocates for Jefferson County, and they get paid handsomely. And we believe, some of us believe, that it would be the fiduciary responsibility of those who advocate on behalf of Jefferson County.
A fiduciary responsibility.
Yeah, you want me to just say it in layman terms? We pay them to advocate for us and to notify us when things are being dealt with pertaining to us. So all I'm saying respectfully is that the commission, even though this discussion is above us, but it includes us. You know, like the elephant in the room that provides all the peanuts, but only the other folk are eating it, and you the hungry elephant, not just because you're a Republican.
And that's exactly what the situation was first in 2009.
Well, I'm not just talking about this. I'm actually talking about in general.
When they decided they wanted.
Like, we got some issues that's deal.
I'm not shooting for Bob Raleigh, I'm just saying it is what it is. It was political in its creation.
And it's political now, and it's dissolution. But I get it. I'm just talking about overall, though.
Right then, but not now.
I get it. I'm just telling you. But overall, Commissioner, we are paying people handsomely to respond to us in terms of things that pertains to us. You know what I mean? Just as a diplomat as yourself, you know, extend a professional courtesy that if the legislature is deliberating or developing those things that pertain to us, just give us the courtesy to let us know. We don't expect them to tell us. We don't pay them. That's taxpayer you pay them. But I'm talking about we have people who we actually have contractually bound to tell us. That's why I use the term fiduciary. You have a contractual obligation to us. Oh, I know you agree.
Did nobody ask, did they ask them to do this?
No,
No
ma'am.
one on this commission asked them to do it.
Hope not.
And they just came up with it on their own.
You know, you're gonna have to ask somebody else that, I'll tell you that.
I'm gonna call Son,
I have to sit down and look at,
because this wasn't discussed at one of the
please
meetings.
call
that I
Sonia,
was at.
please call.
I will.
Right there, or you're on the list, you're on the.
But they didn't bring this up at a meeting, because
Okay.
I would've been coming back telling
I
y'all.
would call Representative Collins. Any other business? We're adjourned.